Hello to all Year 9 students, parents and carers. My name is Mrs Burns and it gives me great pleasure today to talk you through the pastoral side of our Year 9 community at Wallingford School. First of all, what I want to speak to you about is actually what you want to achieve at the end of Year 9. I've already spoke to all Year 9 students about this. They've already had the opportunity to write themselves a letter, and in that letter they've looked at what they want to achieve personally and academically. And I want you to think about that now, Year 9. I want you to think about what Year 9 looks like to you right now, but also what Year 9 looks like to you at the end of the year. Year 9 is an incredibly important year, and the reason it's so important is because this is the year that we transition from Key Stage 3 into Key Stage 4 when our GCSE journey begins. This year is absolutely a fresh start and a new beginning for everyone in our Year 9 community, and what you want to get out of Year 9 is absolutely up to you. In addition to thinking about what you want to achieve at the end of Year 9, I also want you to think about your mindset. I want you to think about whether you are a person with a growth mindset or someone perhaps with a fixed mindset. And to sum that up, I want to share a quote with you from Henry Ford. And Henry Ford simply says, "Whether you think you can or you can't, you are right." And what Henry Ford means by this is if you are an individual who thinks you will not achieve, then you simply won't. But if you are someone who absolutely believes that you can do something, then you will achieve. And we can mimic that in our Year 9 community, in all of our lessons and everything that we do around Wallingford School. If we believe that we can achieve this year, we absolutely will, Year 9. If we believe that we can't, we simply won't. Having a look at that concept of fixed mindset and that concept of growth mindset, as I've just said, Henry Ford sums it up, but actually I want you to think a little bit deeper. I want you to think about perhaps if you're a fixed mindset, you're believing that your abilities or your intelligence won't change at all. Perhaps you're fearing of making mistakes. You don't want to get things wrong, so you don't ask questions in lessons because you don't want to give the wrong answer. Perhaps you're always trying to prove yourself, prove that you can do something, prove that you are as good as perhaps the person sitting next to you or perhaps the person in your group. If you're someone who's sat there that does that, then perhaps you are someone with a fixed mindset. Whereas if you are someone who believes that your abilities can change over time and your abilities can progress as you learn, perhaps you are someone who views your mistakes as a learning opportunity. You're happy to get it wrong because you know ultimately you're going to learn from that experience and you're going to develop from that experience. And actually, learning is fun, learning is for yourself, and it's not for the people around you, it's not for the benefit of everyone else. Then perhaps you are someone with a growth mindset. But the power of having a fixed or growth mindset is that we can change at Year 9. We can change from being someone with a fixed mindset into someone who has a growth mindset. I want to talk a little bit about my expectations for each and every member of the Year 9 community. And that again is very, very simple. My expectation is to always be the best version of yourself. And how do you be the best version of yourself, I hear you ask, Year 9? Well, quite simply, attendance. Attendance at school is one of our top priorities. We know if you're inside of the lessons, you are learning from the teachers, you are getting feedback from your teachers, you're communicating with your peers and you're learning from them also. But I want to share a little statistic with you. I want to share a little fact. If you are someone who perhaps has 90% attendance or last year had 90% attendance, that's the equivalent to half a day absence every single week. Over a school year, that sums up to 4 weeks missed. So if you think about your GCSE journey from Year 9 to Year 11, that actually equates to 12 weeks off school. Link that with the coronavirus pandemic we are experiencing. That's the equivalent to the time missed during lockdown. So when you add it all together, 90% seems quite good, but actually it's a very sustained period of time off school. So attendance has to be priority. Going hand in hand with attendance is our punctuality. And again, you might think sometimes arriving 5 minutes late or 10 minutes late is absolutely acceptable in the morning. But if you clock up those minutes every single day, so if you're late 10 minutes every day, that's 50 minutes of learning missed every week. That's the equivalent to 1 day absence every half term just because you are coming in late. And tutor time at the start of the day has never been more important than it actually is now, because that is where you are getting all of your key information from your tutor every morning. They are passing on key messages messages from staff. They are passing on messages that you will need for the day ahead, for your lessons and for your extracurricular opportunities. So it's really important that you get to those tutor periods on time. Other essentials for success, the usual if you like, equipment. Being organised with equipment, bringing that equipment into every single lesson, being prepared the night before in order to, when you get into school, get your equipment out and set yourself up for the learning for the day. Uniform. You should be, Year 9, incredibly proud of your Wallingford uniform, because you should be incredibly proud of the community that you are a part of. I'm incredibly proud to be a part of the Year 9 community, and you should be wearing your uniform with pride as well. Applying yourself in lessons, that's a big one for me, because actually, even if you're in lessons, even if you've got the right uniform, even if you've got the right equipment, if you're not applying yourself in the correct way, then you're simply not learning. You're simply not developing academically, personally, and you're not going to achieve them goals at the end of Year 9. So making sure in lessons you've got that right attitude, you are applying yourself in every situation and taking every opportunity. And that goes hand in hand with behaviour as well, making sure that behaviour in lessons is conducive to learning, not just for you, but for everyone else around you as well. And obviously respecting our community. That's a huge one at the moment, because we're asking you to do lots of different things that you wouldn't normally have done perhaps in previous years. We have such a fantastic tutor team in Year 9. I am so incredibly lucky as head of Year 9 to have such experienced tutors and such fantastic tutors on our team. And I know Year 9, you really appreciate having such fantastic tutors as well. Now, from a parent and carer point of view, you obviously don't see those tutors every day like Year 9 students do. So if you ever need to contact us for whatever reason, either myself or directly to a tutor, the best form of communication is always an email, because we can pick that up throughout the school day also. Email systems are really straightforward. It's normally the staff name, staff surname, followed by their first initial at wallingfordschool.com. Alternatively, you can always give us a ring, and we will always endeavour to ring you back at the soonest possible time. Any additional support at Wallingford? We are incredibly lucky here to have lots of additional members of staff who provide lots of additional support in lots of different ways. So we have a school health nurse who is actually located on school site and is here Monday to Friday. We have Miss Ward, who's our careers advisor. So I know people in Year 9 who are already thinking about careers, already thinking about those options in Year 9. And we also have our school counselling service. Now, again, as a parent or carer, if you would particularly like someone to access them services, please do get in contact with myself, and I can make those referrals and make those arrangements and talk through those details with you. Our PSHE programme at Wallingford is absolutely spectacular. It covers an absolute broad range of subject areas for students. So as you can see there from the board, there's lots of variety in the sessions that we cover, and all of the sessions cover different elements of developing life skills and developing students both personally and pastorally. Those PSHE sessions take place every Friday period 1, and they are taking place within their tutor time sessions. I'd just like to take a moment of time to talk to you about our whole school key messages. Now, I know in our Year 9 bubble and in our Year 9 community, we talk about these every single day, and we have our reminders every single week on a Monday. But they are really important to how we use our school community at the moment. So things like cleaning your hands regularly, making sure you are washing your hands with soap and water and drying them effectively, using the principle of catch it, kill it and the bin it approach, using all of the resources provided to you in lessons to clean your desks and clean your resources frequently, not just perhaps at the end of the lesson or perhaps during a lesson changeover. And now I think we're doing really, really well at this Year 9, and I want us to continue to be absolutely fabulous at this, but actually sticking to our areas. We are fantastic in terms of we've got the whole of B block to ourselves with the porter cabins, so we're pretty secure where we are, but actually sticking to your designated area, particularly at social time, sticking to your designated toilet and following that one-way system around school that we are all still getting quite familiar with but using quite effectively. And lastly, I've already spoken about equipment, making sure that actually you are organised with your equipment, you bring all of your equipment that you need every day to all of your lessons, and that you're also organised with things like food and drink. Lastly, I'd like to leave you with two quotes for you to think about and perhaps reflect back to what it is you want to achieve at the end of year 9, but also reflect back to that growth mindset or fixed mindset idea that I've discussed with you also. So the first quote is by Walt Disney, and that simply is, "All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them." And another quote by Michael Jordan, "If you run into a wall, don't just give up, find a way to climb it." Thank you, Year 9.
Hi there, my name's Mr. Lamb. I am one of the deputy heads in school, and a big part of my job is focusing on the curriculum. I'm going to spend a bit of time talking to you about what the curriculum looks like for Year 9 students, and also focus a little bit on next year and the process that Year 9s go through in order to choose their options for Year 10 onwards. More specifically, 3 things I'm going to talk about are the current subjects that happen in Year 9. I'm also going to talk about some key dates, and finally I'll talk about some of the subjects that will be on offer. So first of all, at the moment we're a few weeks back into school for Year 9s, and I think it's healthy for students and for families to be reminded about the subjects that students are studying at the moment. So as you can see on screen, there's a big range of subjects on offer, and one of the things we're most proud of at Wallingford School is the range and the variety of subjects. So we're pleased to still have core subjects like English, Maths and Science, but to also have languages, humanities, PE and sport, design and technology, and a range of other opportunities as well on the curriculum. Our aim is to have a broad and balanced curriculum, and we think the selection of subjects you can see in front of you achieves that aim really, really well. I'll just draw your attention to a couple of subjects. So one that's probably new on student timetables this year for Year 9 is STEM, so that's science, technology, engineering and maths. It's a really fantastic part of the curriculum. Students have 1 lesson a week to focus on all of those things really. Often the lessons can be used to draw together different fields from science, technology, engineering and maths. Sometimes there'll be computer-based work, and often it can be some kind of practical implications of some of those subjects as well. So it's a really a nice part of Students' Week, hopefully, and something that will grow as the year goes on. A second thing to draw your attention to is PSHE, which is explained on the screen. That takes place once a week as well on a Friday morning. And again, it's a fundamental part of our offer for Year 9s. The topics that are taught for Year 9, I know Mrs Burns has gone through some of those, or at least showed them. And again, we're really proud of the variety there. We want students to leave Year 9 feeling really well informed about all the things that are important to young people at that age. So that's what's currently happening in Year 9. The next thing to think about is actually what's going to happen beyond Year 9. And there are some key dates that students and families need to be aware of when we're thinking about what's next. So this academic year, December will be the time when our options are launched to students. That will take place in some form of assembly, and there'll be PSHE lessons to follow up as well. At the same time, there'll also be our first progress report in the year. In January, we'll make sure that all students are given a copy of our options booklet. That details every single subject that's on offer for students when they start Year 10, goes through the details of what the course entails, how many exams there are, and so on. As we move through the year into February, we're going to meet with every single Year 9 student. So a member of the leadership team or one of the pastoral team will meet with every single student to discuss one-on-one what their thoughts are about their next steps. It's not for us to tell students what to be doing, but it is for us to challenge them, to prompt them, to question them, to give students a chance to reflect on whether the choices they're making are sensible ones. Similarly, there'll be an options evening that happens in February. That's a chance for all families and parents to find out in more detail about the courses on offer. And the final thing in February is a Year 9 Parents' Evening. So again, a good opportunity for parents to speak to staff about whether the courses that students are doing or that they've chosen to do are sensible choices. In March, there'll be another progress report giving you an indication of how much progress students are making in different subjects, and there'll also be a deadline for handing in that options form. Beyond that, in April and later on in the year, there are chances for us to shift around those options just slightly, finalise choices. So even at that stage, if students aren't completely convinced about one subject or another, they can still make changes. Towards the end of the year, we do have some exams, and then there'll be some results and a final progress report going out at the end of the year. And again, that might even inform one or two students with decisions they're making. So that's how the year looks. It's worth noting that at any point during the year, students, family members can ask questions and should ask questions. I'll be the person who ends up leading the Year 9 options process, but equally, students can talk to their classroom teachers, their tutor, head of year, Mrs. Burns, or anyone else in school who they feel like might be able to provide them with more information. Another key person is Mrs. Ward, our careers advisor, who has some really good advice about options and the next steps that are open to students. Finally, I want to talk about the courses available. And I'm not going to outline exactly which courses are available for September 21 for the current Year 9 cohort, but I will give you just a little bit of an idea about what the structure will look like once students enter Year 10. So there are a group of subjects which all students take. These include English, Maths, Science, Core PE and PSHE. They won't change. They will always be on the curriculum. They're core subjects which every student in the country is asked to take. Aside from that, we give students a choice of 4 additional subjects, or what are sometimes called option subjects. And again, there's a really broad and balanced range of subjects on offer. And in fact, this year we had around 18 to 20 different courses, quite a range. And we would hope that every single Year 9 student can find a combination of option subjects which they'll enjoy, they'll be enthused by, they'll engage in, and they'll really enjoy and be motivated to come to school to take. Finally, it's worth mentioning that there are different forms of qualification available once we get to Year 10. So the majority of our courses are GCSE courses. We also have on offer vocational courses and some technical courses as well. The main difference between these is the way that assessments take place. So whether they are end of course exams in our exam hall, whether they are online tests, whether they are modular or have elements of coursework. And for all those qualifications and the different subjects we offer, the amount of exams and coursework and so on changes. All of that information will follow once we launch the options programme to students. So finally, I hope all the information you've had from Mrs. Burns and myself has been useful. I hope you've had a good start to the year in what is quite a strange September that we're having at the moment. And I really hope that you take all the opportunities that are available to you this year and have a great year.